Hello, you guys. Welcome to another live stream. I'm sorry I'm just a few minutes late here. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Before I get into it, you guys, we got to roll the opening sequence. So check this out, you guys. It's pretty cool.
3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time Forex trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line.
This is going to be a live trading video.
Here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
There we go. We're live. Not bad, huh? That's a big shout out to Miles for making that. He works here at A1 Trading, and I thought that was just the coolest intro to a live stream that I've ever seen. What do you guys think? Was that cool? Yeah, we got an intro, says Andrew. You guys can thank Mr. Miles. Can I get a thank you, Miles, in the chat for putting that together? That was so cool, you guys. I'm just excited about it because it's like day by day, things are slowly getting better and better here. So yeah, big shout out to Miles in the chat for putting that together for us and making that possible. And like I said, this is what you guys, by supporting the content, that's what we're able to do. We're able to bring talent on board and make this better and better for everybody who is a part of our streams and content here on YouTube. So with that said, we got some cool feedback. Nice intro. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Miles. Great work, dude. I thought it was a trailer for a movie. I know, right? It's like that quality. Seriously, so good. Lots of thank yous. Yeah, so big shout out to Miles in the chat. So with that said, you guys, welcome back to another stream. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you had a nice weekend. I definitely did. Let me give you guys just a quick little rundown. I gotta brag on myself for just a minute here. I went on a 13-mile run this weekend, and I actually survived. Barely, but I did. I made it across the finish line. So for those of you guys who have been supporting me on that little on my Instagram and things like that, who have been wishing me good luck and congratulations, I am still alive. I did somehow make it, and thank you very much for your support. So I did 13 miles, my girlfriend and I. By the way, I looked that up for those of you guys who are in other parts of the world. That's 21 kilometers, which is kind of a gross number to even say out loud, but it's like a 21K. You hear people doing it like, oh yeah, I did a 5K, 10K. Somehow my girlfriend looped me into doing a 21K, you guys. So just absolutely insane. Before we get too far into the video, I do want to shout out, our sponsor here on the channel, which is of course tradingview.com. If you guys like my content and you like the charts that I pull up and all the different cool features that TradingView has to offer, I want to just let you guys know that the stream and content that you guys get here for free is sponsored by TradingView. They help make all of this possible and keep the lights on for us here at A1 Trading. So a big shout out to TradingView. If you're not already using them, seriously, they're like the best hands down platform. There's nothing else that I've come across that I like nearly as much as TradingView. And even though they're a sponsor of me, like that's my honest opinion. I wouldn't even be saying that if I didn't truly believe in their platform. It's a fantastic place. So sign up for TradingView. There's a link down below in the description. You can get access at tradingview.com completely free. Start up an account there and start charting and trading. Bring it all to the next level. So with that said, let's get into today's market analysis and see what's going on in the world of currencies. And of course, we will talk about gold, but we're going to come back to that. So let's start on the website here for a moment. We'll pull up the currency heat map, which is a pretty common place for us to start. This is available on our website, a1trading.com. Go here anytime you want, completely for free. Like I said, our model is we get sponsorships and we do advertising on YouTube to help make all of this stuff free for the average viewer. So if you're enjoying it, the best thing you can do to make sure that we can continue doing business is to smash that like button down below, subscribe to the channel for more content, and let's get into the analysis. So euro on the upswing today, lots of bullishness on the euro. And believe it or not, you guys, this is like sacrilegious to me in the last several months. I actually bought the euro against the yen yesterday, which is very, very new for me because I have not been a euro bull in a long time. And I'm not by any means like a massive bull on the euro, but we had some PMI numbers, things that looked really good for the euro in the last several weeks. There was like rumors of like, hey, things are going to come back around for Europe in the second half of 2021. And, I was sort of cautious about being bullish on the euro. But we saw some good numbers, and honestly, things are lining up, honestly, for a continuation of that euro bullish train. So I actually ended up going long on euro yen yesterday. I took that trade, shared it with the members inside of our private group, and so far things are looking pretty good there. Let's check out some of the other ones. You've got, of course, got the dollar looking a little bit red here, especially against, of course, that powerhouse euro right now. And then you've got the dollar performing subpar against some of them. And then, of course, the New Zealand, which we will get to in a moment, looking very strong today. The yen pretty flat, so not a lot happening on the dollar and the yen today. The pound slightly in the red, got a little bit of bearishness there for the pound today. Swiss franc flat, Aussie slightly bullish / flat. You've got the CAD looking a bit flat. And then, of course, our big winner today, which is the New Zealand dollar, coming in very strong here on a Monday. So we're going to take a look at the New Zealand dollar. We're going to take a look at some of the other markets, and of course, talk about gold. And maybe we'll even tap into the S&P 500 today, see what's going on with that. But before we get into the currencies, just a little checkup on our old friend BTC. What's Bitcoin doing today? Because it's moving so much, you guys. Yesterday on a Sunday, I'm sitting there sipping my Sunday coffee, right? And then I look at the charts for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's just wilding. It's like a party animal on the weekends. I'm like, what are you guys doing on the weekends? Aren't you supposed to like relax from trading for a little bit? But some of you guys may know that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, they trade 24/7. So people are still trading them over the weekend. You have people looking at them on a Saturday, on a Sunday, and I don't know why. I mean, like, don't you have other things to do? But, you know, the Bitcoin market was just going crazy to the downside in the last several days, but then even on Sunday we had another really big steep sell-off. So I was just curious with what happened to Bitcoin. It does seem like we bottomed out yet again here, right around the 30,000 area that we highlighted last time we looked at Bitcoin. You can see price rallied, and now on the retest seems to found a bottom yet again. We'll see if that can hold. If it does break, of course, I think your next level has to be something down to like, what, 25? Let's see if we can even identify a spot. Just a real quick look at Bitcoin for the people out there who keep tabs on it, and then we'll get into the currencies. You know, honestly, it doesn't even look like you have really any support if this thing breaks until you get down to something like 20,000. So I would say that if you're watching Bitcoin, if we get some sort of break of this bigger structure here at 30,000, the next level would probably be a run down to 20,000. So if we were looking at Bitcoin, and let's just say, for example, that by the end of the week, we see Bitcoin moving its way down underneath that $30,000 mark. There could be some opportunities if you're a short seller to look for opportunities like this and a move down to 20,000. I know Joe, who is inside of our private group, he has a target on Bitcoin for $20,000. He actually took shorts somewhere, I don't remember where, probably like back here, longer term shorts, and actually ended up closing his positions right at $30,000. So he took a really nice profit on the short side. I'm not really willing to short Bitcoin just because this thing seems to be deflationary by nature, meaning by over time, you know, there's less supply of it, so the demand rises. And so long as Bitcoin is still viable in some way or another, I think that it probably should do well over time. That's just my opinion, and that's why I hold some myself. But just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a price update there. It seems like for now, 30,000 is holding well, but we will see if that can maintain itself or not. All right, so let's take a look at some of the different currencies. We talked about the euro. So let's start with the euro. The euro dollar is moving here against the dollar today. It's looking pretty good. We held this area of demand. Let's actually start fresh on this euro currency pair because it's a little bit messy right now. So that's my bad. We will clean it up and start fresh. So let's talk first about some of the major areas of resistance. The first area of interest to me, of course, has got to be the previous top that we made back in January of 2021. So the start of this year, you can see we topped out right there at about 1.2330, let's say. If price heads up to that point, of course, you're talking about a serious interest by the sellers to see if they can hold this area, but we'll just mark that for starters. The next area of resistance was this area, which now looks like it may be holding actually as a level of support. So we will go ahead and target that as, we'll make that green. So let's see if I can't touch this thing. We'll try. There we go. So that area, what was resistance, we actually kind of have to mark this as demand now. So what was this area where, I honestly thought we did get an initial rejection. I thought we would get some rejection. I thought we honestly would get more, but that is not the case. The Euro bulls came in strong here and continued to push price higher. So let's look at this a little bit closer. So again, multiple times this area acted as a safe haven for sellers. Price came up, found sellers again, and then finally buyers on this big green candle were able to push price past that level. Let's keep marking our levels, and then we'll go down to the 4-hour and the 1-hour chart to see what those look like. So in terms of big areas of demand, of course, you've got this area here. We could probably see that a little bit better on the 4-hour, so we'll look at that in a moment. And then you've got this area here. And then, of course, the previous low, which you almost don't need to even mark because it's so far away, but we'll just mark it just for the sake of our consistency here. And I want to make a point about the euro dollar here. I've talked about targeting this level here, 1.235, that previous high. And let me add some clarification as to why I have that opinion. Check it out. If we look left, right? So the story right now for the euro is very bullish, especially when the story for the dollar right now is fairly bearish, right? So you've got Euro bulls sitting there on the sidelines looking for opportunities to push this thing higher. And then you've got the dollar looking fairly weak with concerns around inflation, unemployment numbers not looking so great, and just, all the stimulus that's going on, right? That is deflationary or right, I guess inflationary for the dollar itself. So the one thing I wanted to point out from a price action standpoint is, bar this level here, there's really not a lot of resistance from sellers to push this price up to the previous high. So I think a natural place for price to want to go is to try and stretch up and make its way up to this previous high, which is why I have a target for the euro dollar at 1.235, which is just the previous top. Now from there, it could go higher. But the point is, I think that the first stop for the euro here is probably a move up to 1.23/1.235, depending on how strong the euro bulls really can get. So let me drop it down to the 4-hour chart. We'll see if we can look at this from a little bit more of a granular level. And let's see if we can just add a few moving averages. So you can see from a moving average perspective, things are looking very bullish. You've got, that cross where the 100 is above the 200. And you've got nice little opportunities here each time price is pulled back to be buying demand or buying into support / looking for demand zones. This level, once again, showing its strength. And honestly, if I was to say where I think the euro dollar is going next, I would say that a natural place for price to head would be a move up to, like I said, that level. There's really not a whole lot here stopping price. Like if you look back, for example, when things were more bearish, you had a lot of sell pressure. So, you have sellers who are interested, right? So as price is starting to rise, you've got sellers who maybe they want to sell here, right? Maybe they want to sell here. Now, of course, they failed and they're going to fail sometimes. That's how we get changes in trend. But until that change occurs again, until we still see, serious sell pressure from euro bears, there's just more interest for me on the long side. Similar to how we're going to talk about gold when we get there. We will take a look at XAU USD. And of course, we will get to that. Hey, you guys, I'm going to do something unique. I've got to show you guys the intro again, because we showed the intro when there was only like 20, 50 people in here. I want you guys to check this out. And this is just so exciting. I'm going to play it again because I loved it so much the first time. I gotta watch it again. Check this out. We'll be right back into things once we get through the intro.
3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time Forex trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line.
This is going to be a live trading video.
Here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
Here we go. We're live. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you were to give that a rating out of 10, what would you guys say? By the way, just for those of you guys who are with us already, they already saw that. But for the newer people who just tuned into the stream, pretty cool. That was done by our video editor / producer here at A1 Trading. His name is Miles. Shout out to Miles again for doing that. Did a fantastic job with that. I thought that was just so cool, man. I would not be able to make anything near as cool as that. And I've been editing off and on for a few years now. So very, very cool. The music is perfect. Dade, yeah, I agree, man. The music choice was awesome. So Very, very cool. So I love the point of putting your money on the line. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing as traders, right? If you're going to make any money in trading, you have to put money down. So let's keep going. Again, my big picture with the euro dollar is I'm pretty bullish, and the main thesis there is, we don't have a lot of sellers. We do, of course, have this area, but for the intraday traders out there, keep an eye on the euro dollar 1 hour chart, because if we get this level to break, I think that that's your in the clear spot, right? So you've got this level here. So my opinion is that if price is able to break through this, that we would probably be able to shoot through that and continue up to that target of 1.234. Is that going to happen this week? I don't know. But if it does start to happen, there might be some great intraday trades that could occur. Now, I am long on the euro yen right now. I've talked about that inside of the private group. Of course, all of my trades are shared there with members, but we'll take a look next at euro yen just to talk about it. So I went long on euro yen off of the pullback here. Things are looking really good so far. The only thing that is really of concern to me on the euro yen is, can we break through this little downtrend that we see right here? This is sort of a counter trend to the overall movement to the upside. If we can break through this, I think similar to the euro dollar, we have a clear move up to the previous high at 133.44. Now, unlike the euro dollar, however, the euro yen has been smashing it. So you can actually take a look at the 4 hour chart and see that this thing has just been up, 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 up. So this is why I actually bought the euro yen over the euro dollar. I like the way the euro yen is moving, and I think it is still set to continue the trend. The thing is, a lot of times people say, oh, this is too high, but look at this thing. This thing is on a tear to the upside. Until that changes, I'm going to try and ride it, because you never know. We could see something like this, right? If you start to think about the power of a strong trend, it can go a lot longer than people think. So I am currently long in the euro yen. Things are working out nicely so far. Of course, like I said, all of my trades are shared inside of the private group. There's a link down below in the description with a promo code for you guys who support the content here. So check that out if you want to see my trades live, as well as our other analysts, their trades as well. We have a couple different people from around the world who are doing their trades live for members inside of the private group. So you can check that out using the link down below in the description and use that promo code for a discount. So that's euro yen. Really not too much else to say there. I mean, this thing just looks like a clean uptrend, and I'm looking to see if it can continue. Price has already moved. I've already moved my stop loss up on my account. So things are working out good so far. I think I took the trade. I took the trade roughly, let's see if I can, where's the tool? There it is. I took the trade roughly here. So at this point, I have also moved my stop up to break even. So I'm sitting in a trade right now, seeing if it can keep going. So that's pretty much my position update for those of you guys who are members and watching the euro yen trade as well. That's where I'm at with it. I'm pretty much long biased on this thing. I think that it has more upside, especially against the yen. I think the euro will do okay. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong. Again, that is like someone pointed out. That's the thing. We're putting real money on the line, and we're not fingers crossing. We're not gambling. We're just taking an educated guess and adapting if we're wrong and letting it work if it's right. So that's the main focus on euro yen, long in there. Hey, shout out to our friends over on Facebook and on our second channel, A1 Trading. Some of you guys are watching on my main channel. Some of you are watching on the secondary channel. We're actually streaming to 3 different platforms at once. So shout out to our friends in different places. And thank you very much for being here. Make sure to like the stream if you are enjoying it. That way we can continue to do it. It does help. It's free to do for you guys, and it supports us in terms of getting us higher in the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to do more of these shows in the future. We actually have a guest coming on at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern. It is 9:22 in the morning here where I am. Depending on where you are, that might be different. But in about 40 minutes, we have a secondary show coming on the second channel only. So if you're not already subscribed to that one, there's a link down below. It's the second link in the description. You can tune in to our other show when it happens at 10 a.m. We have a special guest coming on at 10, so you can subscribe to that channel and watch the second show there. Dennis says he's watching the show from Facebook. So welcome from Facebook. Thanks very much for being here. Let's keep going. We'll take a look at some more currencies. So we looked at the euro dollar and the euro yen. Why don't we take a look at the pound dollar here and see what's going on with the old British pound here? Just so you guys, just a fun fact, the British pound is an old as dirt currency. It's been used for a long time. You had some jolly good fellas who made it a long time ago, and it's been continuously used for a long, long period after. I couldn't give you a date, but I know it's an old currency. They actually they call the pound dollar, they call it the cable. Does anybody know why they call pound dollar cable? Cable, like CABLE. So the nickname for the pound dollar, this currency exchange, is called the cable. I'm gonna see if anybody knows why. But the pound dollar has been on a pretty good move. I've got an alert set for the pound dollar. If it comes down to this point, I should get a notification about GBP USD. We'll see if it can come down to that point. I would be interested in possibly looking for longs if we come down to an area like this or an area like this. But just keeping an eye. I am bullish on this one and looking for opportunities to get long. Chris says that I'm guessing it's the cable going from the US undersea to the UK, and that is true. So there is an underwater cable, believe it or not, between the UK and the US. Like that giant body of water, that giant ocean, the Atlantic, there's a cable that goes across it. And back in the day, they used to get all of their feeds or like their updates on pricing between the pound and the dollar through that cable. So it's just a nickname. GBP has been around since 1694. Thank you, A1 Trading Team, for putting that in there. That's awesome. Yeah. So interesting fact for you: 1694. That's old, man. So anyways, when I'm looking at the pound dollar, currently I have a long bias on the pound and a short bias, or at least neutral bias, on the US dollar. So I'll explain that briefly. The UK's numbers are looking pretty good. Their unemployment is doing well. Their inflation is less so than here in the United States, whereas we sort of have this concern around inflation right now. So high inflation plus unemployment numbers that are a little bit scary. All of that, put that together, and you're talking about, for me, I don't really want to be a buyer of the dollar at this time. If anything, I'd be looking for opportunities to short the dollar. And so that brings us to pound dollar. So I like the UK. Things are looking pretty good there for the time being. And so overall, looking for upside on the pound against the dollar. So when I'm looking at this, I have an interest in looking for longs, but I need to find a setup that really makes sense. On yesterday's Sunday analysis video, I talked about the idea of looking for a pullback. If it wants to come in, I'd be interested in looking for, something like this and looking for long setups there. Or, maybe if we can get the breakout and the retest, maybe there's something there for us. Maybe we could find more upside on the, the break and retest. So either ways, I'm just waiting for price to get a movement going here before I look to try and buy the pound dollar. Of course, if I take a trade, I'll alert that to members inside of the private group with my entry, my stop loss, targets, anything like that. So for the time being, I'm sitting on the sidelines, but I would like to be long in this currency pair. Things are looking very bullish. And I think that from a big picture standpoint, you've got this upward trend, right? And then you've got this sideways market, and it's just a matter of, can we get the break? Can we start to see the flow of money come into the pound dollar once more to get us above that 1.42 mark and to hold it enough for us to see more fresh demand rush into this currency pair and push us to some higher highs? Because when we're talking about this thing on a daily perspective, if the trend is going to continue, we would want to see a new high. Right? So we're still looking at pound dollar here. We're talking about the daily chart. A new high would take us above that previous level. So if this trend is going to continue, again, we can look at the 200-day moving average. Things looking pretty good here. You've got the pound dollar looking to try and form a new high if this trend is going to continue. So of course, something like up here. Right? And to be a little bit more precise, we could actually use what is called a Fibonacci extension tool. So this is a very, some people love it, some people hate it, but we'll take it from here to here to here. So what we're doing now is we are drawing the extent to this trend here, the pullback of this, and then where a natural place for price to go should price do another reiteration of that same trend. Well, this distance, check it out. If we take this distance, if we were to see the exact same distance play out, we could copy and paste that and say, okay, there we go. A natural place you could see would be a nice 100% extension of this same trend. If price were to break out, that leaves tons of upside for the pound dollar if and only if we start to see a break and some nice price action to the upside. So that's what I'm looking at on the pound dollar. I think maybe a more conservative target could be the 0.786, which would be a move up to 1.45. Nice round number play there. A move up to 1.45, however, is still leaving us with, what is this? Like 375 pips. You got tons of upside if this thing really wants to get going. So I like it. I think there's some opportunities there. Of course, as you guys know, this is not financial advice. I'm telling you my opinions and my approach to trading. I can be wrong, just like everyone else. Please don't look at me as if I'm some sort of all-knowing trader, because I am absolutely not. I'm just a person who trades. I'm a retail trader, just like all of you for the most part, unless you're sitting in a hedge fund right now. We're all retail traders. It's not impossible to make money as a retail trader, but it is difficult, and you should really, really consider the risk that you're taking. If you're going to be trading Forex, please don't treat it like a gambling casino, unless you're just trying to have fun, in which case, honestly, I've been to a casino and I've traded in the markets. The casino is way more fun if you're just there to gamble. So use the casino for what it's for. Use the markets if you're going to be serious about it for what they're really intended for, which is, conservative approaches that make money over time. Just my opinion, of course, but we will see if the pound dollar can get that move above 1.42. Let's keep moving. So we took a look at the euro dollar, we look at euro yen, and we talked about pound dollar. Let's take a look now at dollar yen to see what's going on with the yen today. So as you guys know, I'm pretty bearish on the yen. So if anything, I think that a natural place for your dollar yen would be to continue this overall uptrend. It's taken a serious pause. However, we've really seen this thing just come to a standstill. We were making this, incredible run to the upside, but naturally when we see these big movements up, we usually see consolidation or a pullback afterwards for a while. So for the time being, looking at dollar yen, there's not a whole lot for me. However, if we were to see something like this, if we were to start to see, I like to be trading something that's moving, because, if something is moving, there's profit to be made. And then, if you're right, you can really capitalize on some of that good volatility. So if we see volatility expand enough and we see markets start to break out of this high here, there very well could be some opportunities for me on the dollar yen to look for higher prices. I do think a nice target for the dollar yen would be a retest of that 111 mark that we put back in April of this year. So seeing if we can get back up to that point will be interesting. I don't know if we made it quite to 111. Let's see, did we? We did not quite make it to 111, just shy of 111 on the dollar against the yen. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of price action, would be, a movement above this level, looking for price here. I personally can't see myself buying the yen unless things drastically change in the world. If we get some very risk off sentiment, if things are really concerning, or we get some sort of, market bearishness, then very well could see myself looking to try and get involved with the yen. But for now, I've maintained this sell pressure on the yen for a while. I've pretty much been exclusively short on the yen for months now and still have the same bias. So we will see if the yen can continue to be weak. If it does continue to be weak, I think a nice setup is to look for the dollar long against a weakened yen up somewhere around here. So that would be my favorite setup looking at USD/JPY. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Check that out. Andre say, hey, is there a discount for the Discord membership? Yes, there is, Andre. If you use the link down below in the description, check it out, and you should be able to use that promo code there as well. And that is how you get the discount. Nice shirt. Thank you. It's very pink. Well, it's kind of hard to tell in the camera because I've got like some white light on me, but this is actually a pink shirt with origami on it. So I think I'm pretty proud of it. So I'm glad that you like it as well. Thank you very much. Okay, so we looked at the dollar yen, we looked at the pound, the euro. Maybe we could take a look at the Aussie. So we'll take a look. We'll switch over to AUD, USD, and see what's going on with the Australian dollar here. Still at a standstill here. I do really want to be a buyer of the Aussie, but I've mentioned a few times that this thing is so choppy right now. It's so back and forth that I really would like to see a little bit of movement from the bulls. So something like this, right? Nice break, retest, and then in that case, headed up to my target there of 0.8. Again, this is going off of my bearishness on the US dollar at this time. I think that the dollar has more downside for the time being. We'll see if that plays out, unless something changes with the Fed narrative. If they come out and say, hey, Inflation rates, we're going to look at potentially raising rates sooner, things like that. If that sort of narrative changes and we get the idea of talking about tapering and less buying of bonds and less stimulus, then until that happens, I'm pretty bearish on the dollar at this time. So that is just my view. So when I look at the Aussie dollar, again, super back and forth, right? When you get a market that is very choppy like this, for the most part, I'm looking to avoid anything to do with it until it starts to get moving. I really like to be trading things that are pushing higher or pushing lower and looking for opportunities to pull back on that particular market. So if we look back here at AUD USD, we jump over and we look at how price is basically just chopping back and forth, lots of consolidation here. I would say that, these lows are not the worst place to buy in my opinion, but of course, what I'd really love to see is, can we get a nice move enough to break through this level? If you get some big green candles, could be some great opportunities, in my opinion, to look for higher prices up to 0.8 on that fresh break of supply, as more demand could be rushing in. So that's the setup that I like most on the Aussie dollar here. This is, of course, the daily chart. If we look at the 4-hour chart, you can see a very similar. You can just see it's very back and forth. So for now, a mostly sideways market is not super interesting to me. So I'm kind of paused on this. While we're talking about it, we can also look at New Zealand dollar, which the New Zealand dollar is very similar. You've got this level of price where things have just basically gone back and forth for a while. We've got the demand pulled up here, and there you go. You've got price back and forth. And until we start to see a serious break of structure, my bias there would be, okay, we're probably just going to range for a while. Okay, so when I'm looking at New Zealand dollar, like I said, the trade setup's very similar to Aussie dollar. I think we probably make a move back to the previous high some point, which brings me to like 0.745 as a target there for price action potentially to head to, should things get bullish enough on the New Zealand or bearish enough on the dollar to push us up to those levels. So head and shoulders on the daily. Yeah, you do kind of have a head and shoulders, right? You've got this, and this, but let me add one more thing. Here's the neckline, right? So a lot of times when you're talking about a head and shoulders, you've got the base of the head and shoulders, the neckline, if you will. Well, that level has not been able to break. So if that were to be the case, then yes, I would actually agree, like, okay, something like this could be in the works. But for now, with this level having its basically holding tight, that head and shoulders is not super interesting to me until we see that. On the flip side, it could also do something like this. In that case, that's where I'm most interested. So that is my opinion on the New Zealand dollar. Again, as always, these are my opinions. Feel free to disagree. You don't have to. I'm not here to tell you like, oh, this is objectively the right answer. These are my thoughts and my analysis in the markets. So please know that I can be wrong. It's not going to be the first time that I'm wrong, and it won't be the last either. So we'll see if it works or not. Aussie yen. Yeah, let's look at the Aussie. So I'm long on the Aussie yen at this level of demand. Price has been pretty flat for me, probably about break even on the trade right now. But members inside of the private group, you probably already saw that I took a long position on Aussie yen at support here. Liked this trade quite a bit, again, off of that yen thesis, the bearishness that I have there, as well as the overall willingness for me to buy the Aussie. I am bullish on the Australian dollar. And for the time being, I'm seeing if we can hold this level here. I have been able to stay in this time. Last time I got stopped out, unfortunately, but for now, still able to hold on to this Aussie yen bullish position. So for now, just seeing if we can hold that level. If we do, of course, I have the opportunity to at some point move my stop into profit. I'll be honest with you guys. I thought it was going to break back here. It did not break. And then we got this ginormous red candle, which is not what you like to see when you're long, but it happens. Fortunately, my stop loss was in a decent enough place to keep me into the trade. So I'm still in my Aussie yen trade and looking to see if that can actually break out and even make it past this level. That would be the point for those of you guys who are inside of the private group. That's where you'll see me probably ratcheting up that stop loss to try and trail in some of that profit. But for now, I'm just playing the patient game. We'll see if that works out. The worst case scenario for me is that if price just drops past this level, I will stop out of this trade and look for an opportunity to either re-enter or look for something else to trade. But that is my opinion right now on the Aussie yen. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. Again, for those of you guys who are inside of the private membership group, I will make any updates that I do on this trade available to you guys there. By the way, probably a good chance to talk about the group for just a moment. If you are new to my streams or new to my content, I do have a private Discord where people are chatting and working together. We do live coaching webinars with our coach, Joe Barreca, inside of the private group. We have a full staff and team that works very hard to make that community the place that it is. You can find out information about that. You can see all of my trades in real time with entries, stop losses, analysis. You can make fun of me if I'm wrong. You can praise me if I'm right. Doesn't really matter to me because I'm just doing my thing. It's just, I share my trades there. So I use it kind of like as a journal. So if that sounds helpful to you or interesting to you, you can check out the link down below in the description. And for those of you guys who are with me live, there's a promo code for you to use and get a discount off of your membership. Will you be talking about gold later, Nick? I think it's time, you guys. I think we need to get some chats rattling off, though. Let's get some hashtag gold gang in the chat. I'll start it off here. Hashtag gold gang in the chat here for you guys. And then we'll pull up the gold chart and start talking about it. Gold is such a popular market for us to talk about here on the streams. So we will definitely pull that up and have to have a look. So let's do it. So XAU, USD, we'll pull this up right here. And I'm actually going to start fresh. We're going to start fresh on gold this week, just because I've got so much, so many markings on this thing from all the battle scars that we've put on it since we've been marking it up. But let's talk about the gold market. So big thing about the gold market right now is that this dollar weakness is really playing out well for gold, right? Whenever the dollar is super weak, arguably it can be good for gold because if their currency is, if there's inflation going on big time, then people could flock to gold to put their money in something that they believe can hold their value, right? Although you and I are mostly traders, there's a lot of people who aren't trading. They're putting their money in to the gold market as a hedge against inflation. Maybe it's like grandma and she's got like $5 million that she just wants to keep safe from inflation. She might be buying some gold, right? So you've got different people playing this. Mary Catherine says, hi, Nick and Julie. Hi, Mary Catherine. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. That's my girlfriend. She did a 13-mile race with me this weekend. So shout out to her. She got me involved. She dragged me into it. And I'm glad that she did because it was a good workout. So shout out to Mary Catherine in the chat. So gold gang, here we go. We're going to talk about it. Gold has been on an absolute run up. And the question is it time for it to take a pause, or is it just going to keep rolling, right? And that's the question that we're going to try and give the best answer we can to. So if we look really quick at the daily chart, we'll start here, higher time frames, to see what's going on from a big picture standpoint. First, we'll mark up the previous high, of course, just as a level of supply here at the top, which this top being our all-time high is at 2050, give or take. Then another major area is going to be 1950, which is $100 less in price. That price seems to be wanting to get to. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And then in terms of demand, you've of course got on the higher time frames where we double bottomed for the year. We formed that low back in, what was that? Was it April? We'll take a look. It was April 1st / March that we double bottomed on gold and found finally a point where price basically took a pause. Now, with that said, that's the daily chart. So that's like super big term where I see prices are interesting. But then let's look at the 4-hour chart and see if we can add some more lower time frame stuff here. So on the lower time frame, you've just got these major just trend to the upside where every single dip seems to get bought pretty decisively. So right now, the biggest areas of interest to me are going to be this area here at 1812. You've got this area here at just under 1800. You've also got this area here. And what you'll start to realize very quickly is that there's a lot of pullback opportunities here on the gold market, in my opinion. I am bullish on gold officially. I think that it does have upside, and that's also based on the COT report, which we can pull up in just a moment. So let's start with this. I'm just going to drag these out just so that they don't bother me. There we go. All right. So back to the 4-hour chart. you can see for the most part, there's like not really resistance that I see that is like super notable on gold. For now, when I'm looking at Joe, yes, 20 kilometers, 21 actually, 21 kilometers, Joe. You look like a healthy, fit guy, though. You could probably handle it. Yeah. So when I'm looking at gold, like I said, lots of pullback opportunities, lots of chances for me, in my opinion, to look for chances to try and get long and to join in on this move. But in terms of like seller's resistance, I really don't think that you have much until you get up to these points here at like 1950. So honestly, the path of least resistance, in my opinion, is prices looking for movements higher and still pushing that ceiling higher for gold. Until that really changes, until we see signs of the opposite happening, I am pretty bullish on gold at this time. So let me give you more ideas, however, in terms of like places that I would actually look to get long personally from a supply and demand perspective. At this point here, we put in multiple tries where buyers were trying to push price higher, and then we had multiple chances where essentially sellers stepped in and broke this thing back lower. Then we saw this same area become a strong area of demand. When sellers failed here, buyers broke through it, and then bam, you had this beautiful up push on the gold market. If price pulls back to that point, I think that's your first line of defense for buyers. So what I mean by that is that's the first chance where I think you might see some stronger buyers step in to try and prop up price. Is that a guarantee that it's going to hold? No, it's just, if I were to look to buy this thing, which I'm kind of interested in, I would be looking for a pullback to something like that. And we could also draw some fibs to try and get a better idea. Or as our friend last week, Emmanuel, would say, I love that he would say it like this. He would say an inspection of price. I love that. He was like, let's get a closer inspection of price, as if he's like a detective. I thought that was so cool. So we're going to say it. Let's get a closer inspection of price using the Fibonacci retracement. And what we see here is that if we go swing low to swing high, if price were to pull back, you've got that 38.2% retracement that looks very interesting for potential buyers who might want to step up and take a swing at this thing on a dip. So for me, 1838 looks really interesting for buying opportunities. Of course, that is if and only if price starts to pull back here. If this was indeed the top and we get some sell pressure there, maybe we get some bullishness on the dollar, which pushes gold down. That could be something of interest to me. But that's like a first attempt at buying. Yeah, inspection of price. I love that saying. Yeah, so like if that would be my first interest. You've also, however, got the 61.8 as a deeper retracement. That looks pretty good to me as well. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart, talking about a bigger discount there. If price were to pull back, that's a move back to roughly 1807, let's say. So both areas that I have interest in on the gold market. Of course, from a seller's perspective, what would really be probably the first sign of like true sell pressure would be not only, a break of this trend line, but also like a break of some of these structure points. So, you see this fail and then you put some sort of lower low in. So for sellers out there, if you want to be selling gold, my opinion here would be wait for a lower low. And the lower low that I'd be talking about, you could see a break underneath this as a low, but also really this. So if you were to see something like this, showing that buyers are not able to hold a level. And in that case, I could see myself looking for opportunities more on the sell side on gold. Now, I don't like to short gold very often just because, like Bitcoin, it is sort of a deflationary vessel. They don't make more gold, right? They do mine more gold, but there's a finite amount. And so over time, as long as the dollar is depreciating due to inflation, you would actually expect gold to naturally rise in price so long as people continue to value it like they have for thousands and thousands of years. So I don't like to short gold just because naturally I think it more likely goes up than down. But that is just my perspective. Have you looked at EU? Hey, Ivan. Yes, I did. Actually, right at the beginning of the stream, we talked about the euro. But I will, just for our friend Ivan, who's going to be joining us tomorrow, I'd like to see his take on some of these dollar movers this week for sure. Ivan, by the way, joins us on our secondary channel each week on Tuesdays. Last week, we had like 120 people watching him at one point, which was really, really cool. So the second channel is growing really fast, especially with Ivan helping us out and putting out content there. We will have more shows and content coming for you guys over there. So the euro dollar, I pointed out, Ivan, for those of you guys who wanted euro dollar and maybe you didn't see it at the beginning, with the euro dollar, we basically pointed out that we have this level of resistance here, but for the most part, if that breaks, I think it's a pretty clean shot up to 1.235, which of course is the high of the year back in January 6th or 7th. We put in this high here at 1.235, let's say, just about that point. So I think that with this euro bullishness right now, Ivan, I actually took a long position. Basically, I took a long position on euro pairs, euro yen this week. You might have seen that inside of the private group, but I took a long position on euro pair, which is very new for me. I've not been long on a euro pair in a long time. So we will see if that is right. But I think that, you know, at some point you've got sellers that probably will gain some interest in the euro dollar. But for now, I think a path of least resistance is a move to come up and test this 1.235 at some point. It's just almost like when you get like a high that's sort of like on the radar, it's like natural for price almost to want to just come up and test it. Now, I don't know that it's going to hold and go past that level, but I do think that for the most part, price probably wants to try to get up to that point. I swear it's going down. Well, let's look at the euro dollar closely, just real quick. We'll head over to the website, head over to a1trading.com, and then check this out. So we'll go over to market analysis, and we'll go to retail sentiment. Let's see what the average person on the euro dollar is thinking right now. Right now, the average trader, the average retail trader, mind you, like people who mostly lose money, unfortunately, most retail traders lose money, and the average retail trader is 78% short. So 78% of the polled individuals are short, which is not really a surprise. If you look at it, you've got an upward trend, and usually in upward trends, you see people trying to short it, and usually in downtrends, you see people trying to buy it. So right now, with the euro, for the most part, with that being said, not super interested in being a short seller at this time myself until we start to see signs of reversal. That's just my opinion. With that said, you guys, hey, we've got another stream starting next week. Next week, in just the next top of the hour. So we actually have 10 minutes. We have another guest joining us on the secondary channel. It's not going to be on here because I try and reserve this channel just for like my content, but we have more high quality content coming your way on the secondary channel. So I want to invite you guys, join us on the next stream. I'm going to be introducing another guest who's going to be sharing a new perspective and talking about some trading strategies and concepts there on the secondary channel. So I'm going to pause this stream. We're going to start it up with the second guest over there, not on this channel, but on just the second channel. If you want access to that, down below in the description, the second link there, you can click that and subscribe to our other channel where we do more content, free webinars, education, stuff like that. If you want more stuff from us, make sure you subscribe to that channel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the broadcast here, and then we're going to go live in just a few minutes with our next guest who's going to be taking a look at the markets with us. So I'll let you guys join us over there. With that said, thank you so much for being here today. If you enjoyed and you want more of this throughout the week, again, it's completely free, but make sure that you're subscribed to my channel down below. You can click that subscribe button and the notification bell, completely free to do, like I said, and you get lots of content from us here on the channel. So thank you guys very much for joining me on this channel, but don't go anywhere. Head over to the second channel because we got more stuff coming your way. So see you over there in just a few minutes. And thanks so much for watching.